Good morning, and you're going to hear a little bit of stuff in the background. I'm wearing my Kobold Monster Codex shirt today for the session, but I wanted to kind of do a GM's tip. It's funny. One of the things that I've seen most among my geek community friends, and I'm sorry my volume of my voice isn't bigger, part of having a cold and laryngitis. One of the things that I've seen most struggle with is major anxiety or depression or low self-image. And I wanted to address that a little bit today because I think as a person who's been through that and still fights it, but is on the other side of it, as they say, I just wanted to share because I feel like this fuels so much in people's lives. I do believe it's a major reason why people go into causes and trying to do major causes and are so devoted to those causes because it becomes the self-worth. So I'm gonna address a couple things, and I hope this helps as a GM because I believe the more we struggle with low self-image or anxiety or depression, the harder it is for us to GM and to play. Even though D&D, Pathfinder, Numenera, all these different systems become our outlet of these things, I think sometimes we just don't really realize how much it does affect us. Or if we do, we don't know what to do to get around it. I was talking with a wonderful friend of mine, and I'm not going to share that friend's name because they know who they are. And if they watch this, they'll know who they are. And I think for anonymity's sake, I really don't want to share their information. But they had some really good points that they shared with me. Is that every day they fought the thing in their mind that told them they had no value. They really weren't a major value to life and to reality and to the people around them. And I think the first thing we have to address in looking at, and again, I'm not a psychologist. Please don't take me as a physician or psychologist. I'm not trying to be necessarily a therapist. I'm just helping each of us to look at ourselves better so that we can address this with the people trying to help us. I think number one, fighting the tapes in our mind. And those tapes can come from maybe comments that we heard when we were young by a parent, a family member, a friend, a schoolmate, a counselor, just a stranger. And those tapes tell us that, you know what, you have no worthwhile, you have no major worth, you aren't worth anything, you're worthless, your contributions are worthless, and more. And to me, that is the worst of the worst. And I know because I had those tapes. I had those tapes that told me, Rick, nobody's going to like you. Rick, you can't make friends. You don't know how. Rick, you just don't add any value to this world or to the conversation or the situation. Oh, your family would be better off without you, And Rick, you're just a complete failure. There's nothing you can do right. And I will say this, and I'm going to say this now. Those tapes, very honestly in my mind, are crap. And they're there to erode who we are. And the more the tapes play, the more we hear them, the more we listen to them and embrace them, the harder it is for us to see that we do have value, that we are unique, that we are wonderful people. And we are. Don't make no bones about it. My belief is very simple. Every one of you out there is a wonderful person, whether you want to believe it or not. You're unique, you're creative, you're special, you are really just amazing. And you got to quit listening to the tapes. And I know that's the hardest thing. And honestly, that was the hardest thing for me to do. And I still remember there was a time in my life when I was just a chameleon. My teenage years to my 20s, I was a chameleon. I became whatever I needed to be liked. I became the expert of whatever to be liked. And one of my really good friends in college, and again, he was a Christian campus counselor. And for those of you that don't believe the faith, I'm not necessarily preaching Christianity to you or anything like this. This is just my story, okay? He said to me, Rick, you're trying to be this Christian and you're trying to know all these things. He goes, my dad was one of the most winning football coaches in high school history in Indiana. And you're sitting there at a game with him, and I was, talking football when you have no clue what you're talking about. And you're trying to come off as a guy that is in the know. And my dad immediately knew you were just full of it. And he said, who are you, Rick Morey? And again, I'm going to release my name. I'm not going to spell it for you, but he says, who are you? And I sat there for a minute. And I couldn't answer him. He goes, what do you like, Rick? What do you like and you dislike? Now, I knew a couple things, gaming and some other things, but I really didn't know. I didn't know what sports I really liked, or what shows, or what books. I was just a blank. And he goes, that's your problem. He says, you so badly want to be liked and you don't want to be disliked. And who does, folks? Who wants to be hated or disliked? No one. But he says, Rick, do you understand that you push people away by trying to be that people pleaser, that person you think they want you to be? He says, figure yourself out, Rick, and you will get it. Otherwise, you're going to really just drag through life with being unhappy. And I remember leaving that time with him, and I felt totally deflated. I'll be honest. I felt like I was about this tall. And I was so crushed by what he said, because I so badly wanted to be this great Christian, this great guy, this somebody everybody liked. I remember walking home, and he had a car. I left my car back by my unit. And I was walking back through the campus thinking about, who am I? What am I? Where am I? And I got home, and there was this card already under my door. And he wrote on it, it was a funny card, and I still remember it, I still have it. There's this lion between two trees, holding on to each side with his legs and his arms. And it says, hang in there. And underneath he wrote, Rick, you are this amazing person and you don't even know who you are yet. But he says, when you figure it out, he says, you will do so many wonderful things in people's lives and you'll impact so many people. And he was right. I had to look at myself and say, wow. Go ahead and close it if you want, sweetheart. It really opened my eyes to things I didn't know about myself. But that's when I quit listening to the tapes. And I said to myself, you know what? Not everybody's going to like Rick. They won't. Some people are going to get cranked off when I share an opinion. But I don't have to be the expert. I don't have to be this amazing person. And believe me, after that, it took me still years to learn. But without that start, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's why you guys see me write things outside on Twitter where I'll share my mind. And I'll tell you, if you don't like it, there's the door. It's because I've changed in that area. And that very people-pleasing was part of my depression. It was part of what made me just erode at myself and be so anxious all the time. And I realized that, sweetie, can you get the phone for Daddy? Over there, the phone. I was amazed that I just even realized that happened. And so I didn't know what to do. But I do know this. In time I learned. And it goes hand in hand. You can't listen to the tapes in your head. Those tapes are right now negative. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones I just, mentioned. The ones that say, you know what, if you just did this, nobody would care. And they wouldn't miss you. And they wouldn't miss you being in their lives. And that is so untrue. So untrue. I think the biggest thing that people battle with in depression is if they just disappeared, the world wouldn't care. And that's so not the case. There is one of you. Just one. Unless you're a twin, there's just one of you. And you're unique in your own way. And you have so much to give the world. And you don't even know it. And you don't even believe it right now. But you do. You have so much to give, whether it's a gamer, or as a game master, or as a geek, or as a creative, or as a human being. And you don't need causes. And you don't need all these little things that you pour yourself into to be that special. I remember, and I don't know if you folks have watched this. If you haven't watched Tyler Perry, I don't care what background you are, ethnicity, watch his Medea series. Tyler Perry is genius. I'm just going to say this. And he has so many profound statements he makes as Medea. It's just unbelievable. Thank you, Tyler Perry, for all you do. Because you've impacted me too. I still remember sitting and watching Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And this was the play, not the movie that came out, because the movie came after the play. And I remember being at my friend T's place. And I didn't know what to think of Medea at first, but I really got to like it. And I remember it was in the middle of Medea talking to the one who got divorced, and I forget her name. And she was so devastated. Her man left her. She lost her mansion. She was unhappy with life. And she just didn't know what to do. And she so badly wanted to be loved by somebody. But Medea comes in, sits down, and goes, "Child, why are you so sad?" And she goes on and tells Medea all these things. And she goes, "Child, how can you love someone else when you can't even love yourself? You don't even love and respect yourself. How can you love somebody else or be loved?" It blew my mind. I sat there for a minute and went, holy crap. What a profound statement. And that applies to all of us. How can we love if we can't love ourselves? No relationship is going to work for you if you cannot love yourself. You got to look in the mirror and find out what's special about you. And don't, I know what you're going to do. You're going to go look in the mirror and you're going to go, "Rick, there's nothing special about me. I'm not that pretty, not that handsome, not that special." Cut it out. Yes, you are. But you're not going to be pretty shining out because you don't love yourself. Look at yourself and ask yourself, what have I accomplished in the past 30 years? And don't be negative saying, "Well, really nothing. I just went to college. I just did this. Stop it. There are things about you. If you can't figure out what's special, go ask your friends what they see in you that is special. And listen. And cut it out with the, "Well, I don't see myself that way." Well, of course you don't. None of us do in the beginning. Okay? And if this upbeat songs in the background doesn't get you going, I don't know what will. It's Disney. So, you got to look at yourself through other people's eyes and see what's special. I told my friend the other day, and she told me, a friend told me their story the other day. Sorry, I shouldn't have said she. Bad Rick. Took time to tell me their story. And I was able to point to them and show them so many things that were special. And that was just in one sitting and listening. You got to start looking at what's positive. Okay, so what's positive about Rick? I'm creative. I'm sarcastically funny. I'm a people reader. I love to read people and understand them. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but in a good way. I love making people happy. Not in a people-pleasing way, but just by my stories, by spending time with them. I'm a good parent. Ask me that, and sometimes I'll tell you no, but I am. I've got 3 wonderful children that I love with all my heart. And I am a good parent. I'm maybe not where I need to be, but I'll get there. I work hard at my job. I really try to do my best to always meet the needs of the customers out there. I seek to understand rather than be understood. I love to listen to music and pick out what I see. I wish I would have learned an instrument or singing. But I love music, and I love every aspect of it. I can close my eyes and see the notes rolling out, and that's so cool. I'm a daydreamer. I can close my eyes, or even while I'm driving, I can daydream a whole story. Do you understand that? I sometimes sit there and put together stories about all of you and me and a different spin on things, a sci-fi or whatever. And it's so freaking cool, and I wish I could pen it. But I can see stories and movies playing out in my mind. Do you know how amazing that is? Not everybody can do that. Can you do that? If so, that's an amazing trait. I'm an affectionate person, but I try to be sensitive with what people are okay with affection-wise. I like to speak, public speak. I would love to get in front of a group of geeks at a con and just share stuff like this. And help. So there are so many things that are special. Now, you've got to find that out about you. What is special? Okay? Second, understand that every day you get up and you battle depression or anxiety or anything else, you are a hero. A serious hero. And that to me is amazing. Yes, sweetie.
Do you know what this says?
Catch a fart. You're funny. Oh my Lord, folks. Things you'll hear on these videos. So these are things that I look at and every day you get up and decide you're going to function. Whether it's sometimes a slowness getting out of bed or whatever, you are a hero. Functioning, getting through the day, that is an important thing. So pat yourself on the back and feel good about that. It's a victory. Every day you move, function, act, and really do what you're going to do. You are a hero to the world and to yourself. Okay? Quit stressing it. Here's a secret, folks. You cannot control the world around you or people. Quit trying. You can't control your friends. You can't control your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. You can't control them. Your parents, your sisters, your brothers, the people at work, the people you game with. If you're a GM, you can't control the party. You can't control others, so quit trying. You can't control their opinions of you. You can't control how they're going to act towards you. You can't control how they're going to treat you. Stop trying. All you can control is right here. And you know what? That's powerful. Because when you look here and you control this, and you make this a better person and grow and learn and do the things you need to, your sphere of influence grows to the point of where you'll be affecting hundreds to thousands of people. But it has to start here. You cannot affect change unless you affect it here. That's why I laugh when people go out and protest. And I will say this. You think you're just amazing going out there putting on a vagina hat and walking in a crowd saying women's rights. You as a feminist try to control things, and you can't. and you get mad and you go out and vote, and then the vote doesn't turn out your way, so you say it's not a democracy and this is a lie, and those evil Republicans or those evil Democrats or those evil independents or those evil whatever, you want to punch a Nazi, you want to do all these things. And let me tell you something, you affect zero change. Now, isn't that a smack to the face? And I know right now you're starting to go into that depressed mode going, Rick, why are you saying that? Because you're trying to change the wrong thing. Change here. Here. The greatest thing that's helped me in the world was changing here. And when I change me, when I become a better Rick than I was 2 days ago, than 3 days ago, the world changes. What I affect changes. And that's what you don't get. Quit trying to be Captain Feminism, Captain PETA, Captain Republican, Captain MAGA, Captain whatever you are. Okay? Stop it. And you get so angry, and that's why the depression gets worse. You get angry, and then you get vocal, and then you unfriend someone, and you call them names, and you think you're just a hero for going after that Nazi SOB. Let me tell you something. All you did was hurt you. All you did. I saw somebody's post the other day saying, man, I argued with my friend, and I wish I could get them back. I've reached out to them, and I'm so sorry. And that's what you do. With your venom and vitriol, you become the worst nightmare that you can be. You become unlikable because you are so determined your cause is righteous. Yeah, I've heard it 1,000 times. I'm 50 years old. There's no one's cause that's righteous, okay? When you hurt people, you are not righteous. You are just an a-hole, is what you are. So quit being that. Quit making yourself loathsome. Quit, because that fuels your depression and your anger and your bitterness. Stop it. Stop. Stop the causes. I'm going to challenge every one of you that is a geek. Stop your causes for a year. Just stop them. Quit them. Stop them. And work on you. And work on making you a better person. And not your cause. Stop all of it. You think, oh my God, no, Rick, I can't do that because it's all going to go backwards. Well, you know what? You couldn't have affected it anyways. In the condition you are in, it's like Medea said, how can you love someone else if you can't love you? You got to start you. Make you your cause, okay? Quit looking outward. I know it feels good to help someone else. It does. But if you're not helping you, then that impact goes away within minutes, okay? It goes away. You get that happy feeling, and then you're back to the trenches again. And you're not feeling good. And the reason is because you're not helping you. Help you, please. Please. All right? And quit hating everybody. Good Lord. I get it. Later in life, when you're right about yourself here, and you're not letting those voices win in your mind, and you're telling yourself every day you look in the mirror, I'm so glad to be here, and I love me, and I love the me I am. Then when you get involved in a cause, you're the shining light and not the dark, angry. You know, that's why Antifa is such a nasty mob. That's why the neo-Nazis are such an angry mob. You know why? Because they want to blame everyone else for their wrongs. And you're going to hate me for this. Antifa and the neo-Nazis are just equally the same. Because they both hate.
Daddy,
Yes, sweetie. Yes, she can. See, I even take time out for the little one, even when I'm with you guys. Go on. You get 30 minutes. Let me tell you, you have got to quit this. You're no different than the people you oppose when you hate. You aren't. You might as well equally be judged around the same. That's like Black Lives Matter. I love the cause. Yes, they do matter. But you know what? When you're angry and you're burning things and you're breaking things and you're saying white people are the reason your world is a horrible place, you know what? Grow up. If you changed you, if you got strong in you, then you wouldn't let the racist or anyone else rip you down. You wouldn't let them. They wouldn't touch you. And if they tried to touch you, you would know what to do. because you're strong in yourself. Okay? And forgive me, you're going to get mad at me again. So what? Your people were a slave at one time. Do something about it. Do something different. Quit going back to we were slaves just X years ago. We were this. You're letting the world and history control you. You control you. You are a wonderful person. Just because the color of your skin is mocha or chocolate doesn't make you any less worthy of who you are. Or if it's a mid-tan or a cinnamon or kind of a yellowish tint to it or a reddish tint, a ruddy tint. Every one of you is beautiful. Every one of you is wonderful. And every one of you has the power to affect change if you change you and continue to. And guess what, folks? We never arrive. I get so tired. I heard the other day a geek, and you know who you are too. He said to me, I went to school with my degree, so I'm educated, and I think I know what I'm talking about. Oh, do you? Okay. A little piece of advice here. Met a brilliant man once, very early in my career. His name, beautiful guy. He's from England. I'm not going to tell you his name. Worked for a major battery company. Had a PhD. I remember walking in his office for the first time, and I was just almost shaking because I'm thinking I'm in the presence of one of the brilliant physical scientists of my time. And I said, Dr. Holden, so wonderful to meet you. He looked at me and he smiled and he goes, Rick, it's Les. Now, I won't give you any more of his name. And I said, I can't call you that. I got to call you Dr. Boop, because you are that, And he says, Rick, see that degree up there from a major university in England? Think of the top 3 universities in England. He says, you know what that is? He says, that's just an expensive piece of toilet paper I can wipe my arse with. I sat there for a minute and I just started hysterically laughing. And he joined me and we laughed and laughed and laughed. And he shook hands with me and he says, it's very wonderful to meet you. And I think we're going to have a great relationship. And we did. He saw for what it's worth. Forgive me, folks. University is an expensive piece of toilet paper. It's needed, don't get me wrong, and the world requires it. But your degree, forgive me, whoever you are, I don't care what you are, your degree means 0. Okay? It's an expensive piece of toilet paper. It's what you learn and do with it and yourself in life that makes you effective or not. Just because you're educated doesn't make you smart. Just because you're educated doesn't make you wise. I've met many dumb people who are educated and many unwise ones. But the point is, if you let that define you, again, you're going to be depressed when that degree doesn't get you what you think you've earned. It's you that makes a difference. You who will get you hired. Your confidence, your strength. And it's what's going to make you a good GM or not. I mean, at the end of the day, or a player. When you're confident in you, you have fun. You step out. You take chances. You're not worried about whether you sound silly on a mic or not. You're not worried about what the world thinks about you. You just have a great time. And I will end with that. Take some time, and my challenge to all of you, including myself, make a chart. Pros and cons about yourself. If you have more cons than pros, get with your friends and ask them what your pros are. And ask them if your cons are really your cons. If they say no, cross them off. Because that's the negative BS that you tell yourself. That's what drags you down. And every morning you look in that mirror and you say, I am, and not the negatives, the positives. I am, bump, 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 bump. And you keep saying it until you believe it. And you see it in yourself. It's okay to feel good about yourself. It's okay to love yourself. It's not arrogant. It's just self-love. And there's nothing wrong with that. I hope this helps. I really do. And I'm getting ready to get into my session. I hope you guys watch it. I'm going to tape it. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this isn't a beat you up session. This is me trying to help you with the core things that helped me when I did these things. Because I've done every one of them and I continue to do them. And it's the reason. And you know what? I tell my tapes when they start to play, no, I'm not that way. F you. F you tapes. And you know what? I want to hear each of you in your bedroom say out loud, F you tapes in my mind. I am not going to listen to you today. I'm not going to listen to you telling me how worthless I am. That's crap. And you know what? Go take a flying leap off a cliff. Because I'm not going to listen to you. And that's really when you start to get strong. And you turn that corner. And yes, you still will deal with those things. But it's not as hard of a climb to deal with them. It's not so hard to get out of bed in the morning. It's not so hard to get through life. Thanks, folks. I love all of you, and I want to see you shine. All right? RicMTheGm out.